Hello and welcome everyone to Twin Mirror. I'm very excited to play this game. It has been on my mind for quite some time. I saw a little bit of a trailer and immediately knew that this would be a game that I wanted to check out once it comes out. So I stayed away from all other information and here we are, completely blind, Twin Mirror, super excited. And I'm ready to go. The feeling that the game gives me is a little bit of a Twin Peaksy vibe. If that is true, we will see. Maybe I'm completely off. Like I said, I only really had very limited exposure to what the game is about, which I like for these games. I like to jump in as blind as possible and then figure out what the game is about and what this journey, this adventure will give us all. I'm very excited to share this with all of you, and as always in the first episode, I'm doing the awkward thing where I ask you that if you enjoy this content, please give it a like, maybe consider subscribing to the channel, share the videos, comment down below. That all helps me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm gods, and we'll bring you more content in the future, so that might be a pretty good deal. And if you want to go above and beyond in your support, you can check out the Patreon link down below as well. With that self-plug out of the way, now it's time for Twin Mirror and starting a new game.
Skies are finally clearing up after a light rain fell most of the afternoon. The weather's approaching 49 degrees, so we've got a brisk West Virginia evening ahead of us. Wrap up tight and settle in, folks. This is 104.3 WVCK, the Basswood Sound. I'm your host, Carrie Hammond. Coming up after a short break, mental health expert Dr. Wick will discuss the recent opioid epidemic that's been affecting
change my clothes and wash my hands. Does the well go down that low? Let me breathe and I'll let you go. I knelt down in desperation. I felt around for something real. There's a radio station playing wrong in my ear. You keep coming alive, keep coming alive, keep coming alive, keep coming alive. You keep coming alive, keep coming alive, keep coming alive, keep coming alive.
Seems like we're on our way to the town of Basswood, and I would assume that was our protagonist. Maybe it has to do with the death of the journalist that we saw about. Like I said, I have no idea who we are and what our mission is, if we are part of law enforcement and investigating, if we some federal agent, journalist, I don't know.
Time to kill before the funeral. Might as well spend it here.
Okay, so we're here for the funeral, not investigating. That is good to know. Let's look around a little bit. It does look very pretty. Look at this.
This place was always one for decisions. Somewhere for things to fall apart.
I am playing on PS4, by the way. Restoration sign, the company made sure we knew how generous they
Welcome
were.
back to Basswood, Sam.
Okay, so that is maybe where we grew up. Ooh, that is pretty.
I came up here every chance I could. One of the all-time great views. Really makes a small town look big.
His head is turned towards that, like there is something. But view of Basswood. Travel through West Virginia. Founded in 1865, this small mining town quickly grew along with the coal industry. At its peak, Basswood produced more coal than any other town in West Virginia, with the Basswood mine being one of the most consistent coal mines in the US. Basswood is also a wonderful place to simply let nature be nature outside of the Appalachian Trail, with its hundreds of miles of hiking trails. A perfect example of the true West Virginia way of life. Basswood is both a reminder of its past and a glimpse into its bright future. Okay, and here we have a little overview over the town. Looks very pretty.
I'm not sure Nick would even want me at his funeral, given how I left things.
I remember spending entire summers on the banks fishing with Nick.
My hometown. It felt more imposing in my nightmares.
Okay, so this is our hometown.
Strange to think of Basswood without its mine.
That is a gorgeous view, though. Else?
Kids hung out here all the time. Not that I was ever invited. Or wanted to go.
Okay, so we were not really the social type, it seems. Oh, now they're...
I don't think these tables have seen any children recently. At least I hope not.
I guess the little head movement did indicate that I could interact with something. Maybe I just couldn't do it right away.
You'd think the massive cliff face would be a giveaway.
I think so. Try my best to not talk over the dialogue too much. I like to kind of take a step back in these games to really immerse myself and also give you the opportunity to get as much out of it as possible.
There seems to be something here.
A+S. Lost and found.
Lovers scarring a tree to write down their initials. Always seemed twisted to me. I get the feeling it still sees some use, given how bad the coverage is up here.
Okay, we have an emergency phone. So far, all pretty standard, I would say. Oh, we have the hiking trails.
These trails
here.
were great to walk if you wanted to feel truly alone.
Hunting is another tradition I could never get behind. Just don't see the appeal.
Not a hunter. When hunting, carry with you any and all required permits and licenses. Do not hunt while under the influence of alcohol. Hunting is forbidden between half an hour after sunset and half an hour before sunset.
Some of these species are endangered. She wrote an article about it.
Okay, who's she? West Virginia's scenic mountain forests are home to deer, flying squirrels, red foxes, field mice, rabbits, and cave bats, among other animals. Bobcats, wild boars, and even black bears have been seen all over the state. Even very remote farmsteads have occasionally sighted the eastern cougar, Puma concolor, on the prowl. I don't want to really run into the puma.
A lot of people were upset when it closed, but not upset enough to fix it. I left a sandwich in it for a whole week once. Dad never let me forget it.
I bet that sandwich was yummy.
I used to love looking at Basswood from up here. Helped give me perspective. Until that day.
Till that day, what does that mean?
Why can't the real world be as clear and peaceful as my own mind? Even if it does mean nothing stays hidden in here. Not even me.
Is this our mind palace? Optimal pool angles.
I've been meaning to ask you something. Don't freak out. Would you be my little girl's godfather? I wouldn't trust anyone else with this.
And yet I stopped taking his calls. He even called once the day before he died. I'll never know what he wanted to talk to me about.
Okay, so something happened maybe between them. Or just with us.
This is Anna. She works freelance. Does a lot of the human interest pieces.
What can I say? I'm interested in humans and their pieces. What do you like to write?
I gotta run to a review with Walt. You two feel free to chit-chat. And Sam, be nice.
I had never met someone so interested in others. Even in me.
So that is probably the she we mentioned when talking about writing articles.
The story is important. You know I think that. It's just... people around here have short tempers and long memories. Be careful. Sam, are you even listening to me?
I heard you, Anna. But no, I wasn't listening. Come on, Anna, look at this.
What is it? Someone skinny dipping?
Anna,
Ooh.
you really need to see this.
I can't even see. Something's blocking it. Sam, what are you doing?
I'm trying to be romantic.
What? Wait. Please don't tell me you're proposing.
I'm down on one knee, a ring. What else would I be doing?
She does not seem happy.
You look like I just ran over your grandma. Okay, the silence is really starting to scare me now. Anna, please say something.
Sam, put that away. Come on. I don't want a ring. I don't need a ring. You should know that. We've discussed it before.
It's an interesting reaction to a proposal. It's not really a no, but it's also...
We weren't happy. She was the one brave enough to face that. Lost in my head again. How much time did I miss?
Bug. Actually bugging us. Okay, journal entry, investigation. I decided to take a walk on the promontory before Nick's funeral. I thought I wasn't ready to face Basswood again, but the past is already pulling me back in. My memories are so vivid, as if I've never left. We have people. Okay, interesting. Anna. The one that got away. Would my whole life be different had she said yes? Seeing her again, that's going to be hard. Yet part of me is looking forward to it. The rest of me wants to turn around and leave now. That must be tough. It is sweet to see... Oh, that was ours. I see. Okay. Wait. Why is it? Oh, there. Okay. It was her idea to carve your initials into a tree. It was before, well, you know the rest. You came up here one night with her by your side. It was late and you were about to head back when Anna said she wanted to show you something. You scratched your initials into the tree, then drew a heart around them. What are you, 12? You scoffed. She took your hand and made you retrace the grooves of the wood with your fingers. When you're 12, she said, you're in love for the first time, it's what you'll compare the rest of your life to, forever. You laughed and she kissed you, and then you drove home and never thought about that tree again until now. Interesting. We have Nick. Nick's been my best friend since we were kids. My only friend. I ghosted him 2 years ago when I left Basswood, and now he's ghosting me by being dead. So we just disappeared. I left Basswood 2 years ago to run away from a job at a small-time newspaper, a town full of angry people and a failed relationship. Didn't glance back. Now I'm going home to attend my best friend's funeral. It could be more fun than facing all your past mistakes at your friend's graveside, right? Oof. Okay. Gives us a little bit of an idea what's going on, right? Oh. And I can see why you would go up here to look at the view. It's quite spectacular. Guess we head back to our car now.
I missed the funeral. Maybe it's for the best. On the bright side, Nick's not alive for me to let him down again.
Okay, so we're kind of in our own mind space. And missed the funeral. Not good.
Sorry, Walter, but I don't think I'll stick around.
Given up already? Just a quick, depressing jaunt down memory lane and then you're gone? I know you think that the only thing waiting for you down there is hurt. Lots of hurt. And you might be right. But it's been 2 years. It's time to face the world. Time to adult.
Oh no, not adulting.
The good news, though, at least you don't have to do it alone.
Here we go. Still coming. I really hope you can make the wake at the Haven. Nick won't care. No, let's say I'm almost there.
Lost the signal. Some things never change.
Oops. I think it's time to face our past. Way back home. So we have these mind powers, which I'm not sure if it's some kind of supernatural power or more a visualization of our memory. Okay, the Haven is a bar. I assume so. Joanne Buck Waldron, Nick's daughter. Oh, Buck was the one texting us.
Muley, you actually came.
It's been a while. You've gotten taller.
Can we talk?
We're talking right now.
It's cold.
So,
You left.
Joan, that's not fair.
You
Here we go.
left.
Let me explain.
It was more complicated than just me and you.
It's always more important than me.
Joan, listen. After Anna and I broke up, I couldn't keep living with her. I didn't have anywhere else to stay. So I moved back in with my mom, who's over in Connecticut these days.
You didn't call, text, or anything. You were just gone.
I don't know what to say to that. You're right. I wasn't in a state where I could reach out to anyone. I'm still not. If Nick hadn't died, I never would have come back.
Thanks for being honest. You're always at least honest. Listen, I wanted to talk to you about what happened to Dad. It doesn't make sense. He wouldn't have just crashed. He drove like a grandma, you know that. It's wrong. I don't buy it.
Okay.
I'm just in town for the funeral, Joan. I'm not a PI or a cop.
You're the closest thing I can talk to. Will you just look into it, Muley? Please?
She wants her father's death to mean something. But where does that lead?
What if it leads to the truth? That could change everything.
An hour ago, you wanted to run away. Now you want to start another investigation?
A few questions won't hurt anyone. Just tonight. To reassure her. And myself.
This is a wake. If you poke around, people may end up poking back. Okay, whatever you do, at least leave the kid out of it. It would be cruel to lead her on. Friends don't lie to each other, even if it means disappointing her again.
Oof.
It's your call.
Oh, no pressure. So, here's the thing how I usually do it in these games. I try to put myself into the shoes of the characters and decide how I think they would pick. Not necessarily how I would pick, or not necessarily what I think is the best option, but instead kind of picking what I think fits the character. What would the character in the moment find as the right choice? I think he's... I don't know. This is a tough one because obviously I'm also afraid to kind of get her in danger. But I think we're kind of riddled with guilt and somewhat shame, and I feel like we would feel it's kind of the least we could do to promise to look into it.
Okay, I'll see what I can see and all that. Gumshoe it up.
You will?
You make some good points. It doesn't fit. I hate when things don't fit.
Yeah, me too. I might just be, I don't know, crazy or something, but...
You want to know for sure. I get it.
Thanks, Muley. I should go in before my mom misses me. You better get in there, too. Can't hide in your car all night.
Who says I'm hiding out here?
I do.
He's not wrong.
See you inside.
Okay, we're self-medicating. Always good. Journal updated. Let's have a look. Inside the barn. We have Joan. Of all people I heard when I left Basswood, Joan is the one who least deserved it. She was just a kid and my goddaughter. But it's a tough job to be a lonely kid's only friend. I couldn't hack it. Now that her dad died, things aren't going to get any easier for her. Angry, hurt, stubborn. Hard to believe Joan was the one who nicknamed me Muley. Not that I'm looking for an excuse. I made a promise to a child that will break her heart whether I keep it or not. What if she's right about her father's death? What will that do to her? What if I can't give her the answers she's hoping for? I mean, that's true, but at the same time, I think we owe it to her to at least try to look into it and see. Maybe there's nothing to it. I mean, given that we just started the game, I'm sure there's something to it, at least to some degree, but... Kathy's car. Her car is older than her daughter, so Kathy may be the mother of Joan. And... this has some... definitely has some Twin Peaks vibes, some Deadly Premonition in there as well, with our different... I wouldn't call it different personality, but...
Might
The
as well
person
talk
we're
to
talking
Walter.
to.
I'll have to sooner or later.
Tara's car.
Whoever said you can judge someone by their car never met Tara.
Okay. Oh. Time to go. Coal Miners Haven. Oops.
Same old town, same old bar. The more things change.
Yes, the cat
Walter
food is under
Dodson.
the sink. Yes, yes it is, Mother. Trust me. Oh, Samuel is here. I'll call you back. Samuel Higgs, as I live and breathe. Has it really been over 2 years? Regardless, I'm so glad you finally made it. It's good to see you. What kept you?
A trip down memory lane. I missed the funeral, but I made it to Nick's wake.
You have to bring it in for a hug. It's a
Oh.
Basswood back in town requirement. So good to see you. Even if I wish the circumstances were different. In times like...
Sorry.
Still not a fan of being touched?
Is anyone?
We're big huggers out here. Big huggers. You never understood that. Also, have you spoken to Anna lately?
No, why?
No reason. If you get
Okay.
a chance, we should catch up. We should really catch up. I'll see you inside.
Doesn't feel like Sam is the hugging type. Also social distancing.
That smile she had when I gave it to her. She could barely get on it back then.
Can we get a newspaper?
I haven't read an issue of this paper since I left. I wonder how they've been doing without me.
Local legend honored today. Oops. Earlier this week, our dear colleague Nicholas Waldron passed away in a tragic car accident. He will be set to rest tomorrow at Heaven's Gate Cemetery, before his family, friends, and co-workers share a drink at the Coal Miners Haven to honor the memory of a dearly departed friend. Longtime readers will no doubt recognize his name, as there have been days when it was the byline of over half the articles littering this plucky paper. Nick was loved by his family and colleagues. He is survived by his daughter Joan and his ex-wife Kathy. It's quite the tribute.
Must have been a hard issue to write.
It often make it to the front page of a newspaper with good news, not even in Basswood. Car crash. Walter did a good job on the obituary. Here we have Walter, my old boss at the paper. They say he taught me everything I know, but given my track record, that wouldn't be much of a compliment. I always thought Walter was the decent sort, the rare breed who truly believes his job is to serve the community. He's definitely overdoing the father figure thing at times. Okay. Seems to be a good person, though.
Ugh, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah. This is going to be rough, probably.
Here we go.
Mr. Samuel Higgs, big shot investigative reporter.
Didn't think you'd ever be back in here.
I'd gladly slash your tires. But that means you couldn't leave town. And you are leaving town right after this, right? Because if you aren't, well, Nick's memory only goes so far.
Let's try to keep calm here.
That's what I thought.
No need to get into a fight right away. Maybe later.
Come on, it ain't worth it. Making friends already, I see.
Declan, been a while.
Hey, careful. I'd rather not be working tonight. And you always seem to angry up everyone's blood.
I'm just here for Nick.
I'm only here to pay my respects to Nick. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, shame that. You watch yourself.
I think it's time I go put up a photo at the memorial board. That's what people do, right? Declan lacks subtlety, but he loves this town like no one else.
We talk to him more?
You always did know how to start a ruckus. Can't say I missed that.
Okay, maybe we're some kind of troublemaker.
Old-timers in general already don't like me, and the article just made it worse.
Oh, which article?
Hey, Sam, why don't you drink to Nick on the other side of the bar?
I'll do that. So maybe we wrote an article not very favorable of Basswood.
It's supposedly the spirit of coal. Doesn't really belong here anymore.
Okay, with Ethan and Walter.
Walter can be overwhelming at
Dickens,
times,
Ethan?
but he means well.
Not
Okay.
really. So I had to throw them all out on their ear, and only then did I realize.
Ah, Samuel, my favorite ex-muckracker. Join us. Join us.
How was the funeral?
Wasn't there. Setting up for this.
Everyone came. Most of the town, it felt like. A sea of sad, wet eyes. I gave the eulogy. Felt hollow. So hollow. He worked for me for years. For years. My best reporter. What do you even say about him?
He was a dedicated reporter from all that we know.
Remember that article? Something about stoplights? No one cared, but he did. Months of effort.
Yield signs. He approached each story with his pen like a knight wielding a sword.
It's the small things. Like he always kept his window down. Said cars made him claustrophobic. That's how he stays with us. The little details.
I remember the bar bets about that safe spot in Pac-Man. He got me one night.
Yeah, got me once too. Can't believe it's real.
Enough about Nicholas, enough. Tell me, how have you been, Sam? How have you really been?
Be vague. I think we are the type of guy who are like, we've been alright.
Got a new start and new perspectives. I'm helping my mother with her garden. I've been volunteering.
Terrific to hear, my boy. Terrific to hear.
Well, I think I've taken enough of your gents' time.
Go, mingle, circulate, but you must join us for an actual round later. You must.
Ooh. Maybe. Later.
Yeah, that could be nice.
Let's not jump right into that.
see.
Think about it, Samuel. A drink with friends is worth 1,000 among enemies.
He's owned this bar for almost a decade and still can't afford another employee.
Didn't want to jump right into it just because I think interesting that we get some extra information here, but didn't want to jump right into it. I thought maybe we can find out a little bit more later, and we may have a drink together. More loose kind of setting.
That's the guy who got the mine closed.
Oh.
Can't believe he showed up. What happened?
So that is what our article did. Probably, right? We were responsible for the mine closing.
Sammy! Oh, it's been ages.
Tara?
Oh, me? I've had this stomach thing lately, always churning. And this thing with Nick, his car went up like a Sunday ham. He burned alive, you know. Have you met Hugh? He took over the old pharmacy just after you left.
No.
The infamous Sam. I've read that article you wrote on the mine. You must have put in a lot of legwork on that.
Took a lot of research.
It took reading thousands of public records, but a pattern emerged of willful negligence.
You are a bulldog. A dangerous man to anyone using power to exploit others.
That's nice of you to say.
Oh, don't hesitate to drop by the pharmacy sometime.
Oh, and Sam, you...
But for now, I have a feeling you're not here for us.
Oh, right. Don't be a stranger, Sam.
So that is very interesting that we were responsible for the mine closing. Seems like it's some kind of negligence.
Everyone here seemed to really like my dad.
Of course they did, Bug.
Everyone's nice in that creepy way. It's weird. Even Anna's weird.
I haven't seen her yet.
People don't really know what to say, but they genuinely liked your dad. So even if they're weird and clumsy, it comes from a good place.
Now you sound all weird and clumsy.
Don't I always?
Do you ever just watch people?
It's pretty much all I do.
Me too. But I don't always like what I see.
Yeah, I get that. Anything else?
You'd think a kid at a bar would stand out more.
We not talk to Declan?
So, Sam, how's life been treating you?
That is a face. Yeah, let's be vague.
The same way it treats everyone. Some days are better than others.
Yeah, that's pretty optimistic, coming from you.
I try.
You staying in town long?
Not really. Why? You think I'm gonna disturb the peace or something?
Wouldn't be your first time. Have a nice evening, Sam.
Okay, that was kind of cold. I kind of see us as a pretty antisocial person, especially now coming back.
Some people can play this game drunk. Anna was best at 3 beers.
Near table, slightly short back corner. Leg gives an advantage to regulars. Interesting. Warning for drunk customers. Doubt they read it. Next article, mind photos. Oh, TV screen. Before we go to that memorial wall,
Bess always had a soft spot for Nick. I think she liked his work ethic.
It was 4,000.
That's what crooked pharmacists want you to believe.
That's where Nick and I sat every time he dragged me out for drinks after work. Pretty courageous of him to try his luck in Basswood, given the state of things.
Mind plays.
I can't believe this whole thing's still working.
Let's see what that does.
kids and I've been busy. And we got a little something for you that's gonna make you smile all day. Daddy, 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 daddy. But when the lights are out, it's time for me to show you my love. And I've got a feeling you've been pleased. So, daddy, 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 sit yourself down. Now you should know how
That was kind of sweet. Bittersweet, of course, but...
Nick and I spent so much money on this machine.
Okay, it's time to talk to Kathy, I think. I think that's the ex-wife, right? Nick's ex-wife.
There was no love lost between Kathy and Nick since their divorce, but anyone can see she's taking his death hard. Kathy,
Sam, you actually came.
My condolences.
I know you two haven't been together for a long time, but I'm still sorry.
We hadn't been close in years, but he was my daughter's father. I'll miss him. Joan was really hurt when you left town. Nick and I were never close after the breakup, and Joan's never had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
Maybe don't break her heart this time when you leave town. All right?
Oof.
Hard to make promises. I don't do well with those in Joan.
I've noticed.
But I'll try.
Sam, I'm gonna hold you to that.
Don't want to bring up the topic of the death, like the cause of death, too early. Oh, mine place. The Pac-Man memories.
You're a lot like Pac-Man, Sam.
I consume everything in my path?
You find every last bite. The mine closing wasn't your fault. Your investigation just hurried things up.
Okay, so
Probably say some lies.
that article was like a long time ago.
Hi, Muley.
You piece of...
Language.
Is that a wedding ring?
Ooh.
I didn't know you were thinking about marriage.
Oh, it's just... It feels like the right thing to do.
Dad, what's the point of getting married?
Well, it's just one of those things people do, Bug. Here, you can play.
Someone has to show you grown-ups. Video games are the realm of the young.
Have you talked to Anna about this?
That's kind of the point. I'll talk to her about it when I show her the ring.
If you say so. Hey, just remember I'm here, right? If you need anything. Anything but my arcade secrets. Those I'll take to the grave.
So I thought initially that he may have written the article once he left the town, but it seems like we've
Sorry
written
we
the
lost
article
touch.
a while ago.
Sorry I lost touch. Rest up, big guy. This photo always looked weird. Nick could never keep a straight face. He was more her best friend than a dad. Look at us. Those two were a great team. Bug was so small back then.
It's a tiny bug. How do I get the... Nick and
Happier
Anna.
times.
Samuel, guess I lost the bet.
Bet?
Yeah, that bet you'd never come back to Basswood? Not after you went careening out of town like a bat out of hell the instant that article broke bad.
Okay, that was around the same time the article, okay.
That wasn't the reason I left town.
Oh, you think it was that girl of yours? You left because the town hated your guts.
What are you even doing here, Dennis? You and Nick become friends or something?
Nope. He thought I was a drunk, which I am. And I thought he was a hack, which he was.
This coming from the IT guy. Didn't know resetting passwords could give you a journalism degree.
Ooh.
It can. But it does give me less patience for people who sling mud my way. Relax. I'm just playing. At least tell me how you been.
Drunk with a gun. Great combo.
Yeah, like you'd care.
Not too much. But suit yourself if you want to be like that. Anyway, cheers to Nick. A man that, unlike us, people actually liked. Speaking of which...
Anna, right? I assume.
As time draws near, my dearest dear, when you and I must part, how little you know of the grief and woe in my poor aching heart. 'Tis but I suffer for your sake. Believe me, dear, that's true. I wish that you were staying here.
Oof. Oof, oof. I think it's time to talk to Anna. Have a quick... Before we do that, let's just check on a few people here. That's Ethan Morrow, a small-time bartender who listens more than he talks. Ethan's bar must be the only prosperous business in Basswood. That's good. Joel Lopez. All the miners in Basswood lost their job when the mines closed. I know better than to provoke them. Kathy and Nick married young and divorced quickly. I'm not sure she's ever really liked me, though I was their daughter's godfather. Maybe that just made things worse. Declan's the local law enforcement. I vaguely remember him from school. He used to get into fights a lot, usually to protect smaller kids. No one was surprised that he became a cop. Walter, what you see is what you get. His grief for Nick is sincere. Tara, the office administrator at Basswood Jungle, is the proverbial weird co-worker. She likes everyone and everything. Dinosaurs, romance novels, evangelical TV, conspiracy theories, rice cookies, unusual street names, you name it. She'd talk about it for hours. She seemed like what was her name? Petersdorf. Tara Petersdorf. She seemed like the type of person who likes to talk a lot. Hugh is new in town, but it seems like he knows how to fit in. Then again, as the town pharmacist, fitting in is part of his job. Still, it's decent of him to have come to Nick's wake. Dennis Gardner. Dennis is the IT guy at the paper I used to work for. I remember him as a bitter and mean-spirited guy. A loner with not many friends in Basswood. So am I, but it doesn't mean we're kindred spirits. Stats. Ignored the minors. Oh, 40% only did that. Well, I think this is a good time to take a break before we talk to Anna. I think we have to muster up some courage to do so. But we will do so next time. Thank you all for joining me for the first episode of Twin Mirror. Very excited to play the game. I have a great time with it. Let me know about your thoughts in the comments below. I think it sets the vibe very interestingly, and I'm very intrigued as to where this all goes. I'm sure there will be some shenanigans with Nick's death and what happened there, but so far we're just easing back into town, getting familiar with all the faces, and then we will ask the hard-hitting questions in the future as well. Again, thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the episode, please give the video a like. Maybe consider subscribing to the channel. Share the video with friends, family, and the people on the internet. That all helps me out a whole bunch and will bring you more content in the future. If you want to go above and beyond in your support, you can check out the Patreon link down below. And I will be back with more Twin Mirror tomorrow. Until then, have a great time.